Chakra is often described as energy, but that is a half-truth. In the higher dimensions of the Otsutsuki, chakra is merely the precursor to something much more dangerous. Today, we are decoding the most advanced biological feat in the multiverse, Otsutsuki baryogenesis. This is the process of collapsing energy into ultra-dense, reality-warping matter, from the black flames of Amarterasu to the solid anchors of the black receivers. We are going to show you how a single alien frequency became the prime matter of the Uchiha elite. To understand the Otsutsuki prime matter, we have to look beyond the Uchiha, to the stars. In the biology of the Otsutsuki, chakra is not just a tool. It is a fundamental force of the universe. While humans use chakra to create fire or water, the Otsutsuki use it to edit reality. This is the origin of the high-density source code, a biological ability to condense chakra until it collapses into black matter. These aren't just spells. They are the natural secretions of an alien biology. Kaki's expansive orb and Higuramo's truth-seeking balls are the same black substance, manifesting as pocket spacetimes or localized black holes. This is the master code of the cosmos, a power that ignores conventional physics and answers only to the will of the Otsutsuki. This alien biology was never meant for the human genome. Indra's eyes became the biological terminals designed to process this high-pressure data. But when Higuramu passed his power to his son Indra, the source code became a genetic inheritance. This triggered a permanent mutation in the Uchiha bloodline, the Otsutsuki prime matter, allowing his direct descendants to manifest fragments of this black, reality-warping power through the Mangekyo Sharingan. To understand why Itachi, Sasuke, and Sarada can summon black matter that defy physics, we must return to the moment the Uchiha destiny fractured, the moment Indra Otsutsuki abandoned Ninshu and invented Ninjutsu. They are the case studies of this inherited mutation. Indra acts as a part of his Otsutsuki source code that his father intended to keep dormant. This philosophical rebellion did not just change shinobi culture, it rewired the biological intent of his bloodline. In shinobi anatomy, this is known as the transition from connection to creation. While Ashura's lineage, the Senju Uzumaki, focused on the connection frequency, expanding vitality and life force, Indra's lineage specialized in compression. He forced his chakra inward until it reached the density required for baryogenesis. Higuramo's Ninshu was designed for internal connectivity. It used chakra to bridge the gap between nervous systems, a kind of neural Wi-Fi for empathy and understanding. But Indra rejected this philosophy. He needed chakra with hand signs. He discovered he could bypass connection entirely and force chakra to manifest as a physical weapon. Hand signs acted as the first compilers, coding sequences that force chakra to bypass the heart and travel directly to the ocular terminals for manifestation. This shift had a biological consequence. When Indra made the split, he fundamentally rewired the way his Mangekyo processed energy. Under Ninshu, the eyes act as receivers, tools for perception and connection. Under Ninjutsu, the eyes became projectors, engines of creation and destruction. The direct main house line inherited this creator's code. This projector function is what allows the user to skip the travel time of a fireball and manifest the black matter exactly where they look. The eyes are projecting reality onto a specific coordinate. Their eyes are genetically programmed to perform this ultimate act of ninjutsu, converting spiritual energy into physical matter. This is the origin of Amaterasu. But to understand this alien power manifest in the human world, we have to stop viewing ninjutsu as a set of separate skills and start viewing it as a ladder of ocular and cellular frequency. What we call chakra is a spectrum, and the version humans use is just the bottom rung. Most shinobi perform elemental molding, a level 1 interaction with energy, but the Otsutsuki perform biotic baryogenesis. They don't just shape energy, they collapse it. By pushing their internal frequency to the level 10 threshold, they trigger a phase transition that turns visible spirit energy into the high-density Otsutsuki prime matter. To understand the Otsutsuki prime matter, we have to view chakra manipulation not as a collection of separate skills, but as a single evolutionary ladder. Most people can't mold chakra at all. Shinobi are level 1. They've learned to need spiritual and physical energy. But even for them, nature transformation is a peak tier skill. What we call ninjutsu is actually just a watered down, low resolution version of Otsutsuki biology. Level 1 basic molding, which most shinobi use, is kneading energy into basic shapes or physical enhancements. Level 2, elemental nature, adding a frequency, fire, water, etc. to that energy. Level 3, Kekkei, manipulation of two elements simultaneously. Level 4, Senjutsu, Sage Mode, incorporating external natural energy to boost the voltage of the system. Senjutsu increases the voltage, or power, but baryogenesis increases the density, the matter. This explains why a sage like Jiraiya still can't make black matter, but a main house Uchiha can. Level 10, the Otsutsuki prime matter, is the spontaneous creation of a high-density matter. Otsutsuki prime matter is the only true Kekemora, a bloodline encompassing everything. The truth-seeking balls are the canonical proof of this. They are explicitly described as the perfect fusion of all 5 elemental natures plus yin and yang. To a human ninja, combining even 2 elements into a Kekkei is a massive feat. To the Otsutsuki, combining all 7 into a single black reality-warping sphere is simply the baseline for their existence. The closer a genome is to the Otsutsuki source code, the higher they can climb this ladder. The Uchiha main house doesn't just use Amaterasu, their DNA is tuned to a high enough frequency to manifest the source code of creation. They aren't just using a better jutsu, they are running the original, unpatchy hardware that the original Otsutsuki brought from the stars. This level 10 access remained a pure divine trait until the first divergence. When Higoromo's son Indra chose to weaponize his father's teachings, he didn't just invent new techniques, he used his proximity to the Otsutsuki source to permanently lock the master creation frequency into his genetic line. If Ninjutsu is level 1, then Otsutsuki prime matter is level 10. It is not a different power, it is the ultimate evolution of chakra molding, where energy is compressed so tightly it becomes matter, and matter is dense enough to warp spacetime. The main house branch of the Uchiha are the only pure-blooded humans capable of natural baryogenesis. While others need Zetsu grafts or transplanted Rinnegan to cheat the process, Sasuke and Itachi's DNA still carries the uncorrupted Indra Prime marker, the genetic permission to manifest this alien matter naturally through the Mangekyo. If the Uchiha clan is a biological tree, we have identified a specific branch mutation, a phenotype unique to the main house. While other Uchiha lineages specialize in neural interface like Shisui or spatial distortion like Obito, the main house carries the genetic master code for high-density energy creation. This is the Otsutsuki prime matter phenotype. It is the physical manifestation of Indra Otsutsuki's first sin, the moment he rejected Ninshu, the power to connect, and invented Ninjutsu, the power to create and destroy. By doing so, he altered the biological intent of his bloodline, hard-coding spontaneous matter creation into his direct descendants. Shisui and Obito's powers manipulate pre-existing reality. The main house are creating the matter from nothing. By choosing Ninjutsu over Ninshu, Indra turned his chakra into a physical weapon. This resulted in the Otsutsuki prime matter, a single ultra-dense substance that shifts through 4 distinct phases depending on how it's manipulated through the Mangekyo terminal. Canon describes Amaterasu as black flames that ignite at the focal point of the user's vision and burn anything until only ash remains. These flames are said to be as hot as the sun and cannot be extinguished by ordinary means. Only the caster can cancel them. That behavior, consuming other flames, persisting underwater, and requiring user cancellation, is inconsistent with ordinary combustion and instead reads like a turbulent, high-energy plasma or radiative phase of chakra. The thermal output of Amaterasu is a byproduct of the matter's high-density state, not its primary function. It is the radiation of the baryogenesis process itself. Sasuke's blazer release, Kagutsuchi, reshapes Amaterasu into spikes, armor, and blades, proving the substance can be sculpted into discrete, solid-like forms when constrained. Sasuke uses Kagutsuchi as a magnetic constraint. He isn't just making shapes, he is using his eye to create a magnetic field that holds the high-density plasma in place. Amaterasu does not behave like a conventional projectile. It manifests at the exact point the user is looking at, and it cannot be dodged by moving out of the way. Treat the Mangekyo's effect as a localized collapse of spacetime at the target location, a micro-singularity whose radiative byproduct is the black flame we see. The black fire is the radiative bleed of that collapse, not a stream of burning matter traveling from A to B, but the visible emission produced where the fabric of reality briefly fails. Because the phenomenon is created at the destination, there is no travel time to intercept, and ordinary defenses that block or absorb incoming attacks are ineffective. Only the caster's will, the same link that governs truth-seeking balls and black receivers, can close the collapse and end the burn. There are moments in this series where Amaterasu appears to be dodged, but within the Singularity Chakra model, these aren't evasions of the flames, they are evasions of the targeting protocol. Amaterasu manifests at the exact point where the Mangekyo is focused. It does not travel, it appears. When the fourth Raikage avoided Amaterasu, he wasn't outrunning the flame, he was outrunning Sasuke's ocular tracking. The result is a targeting error. The source code for the collapse was sent to the Raikage's previous position. By the time the microsingularity formed, the target had already exited the strike zone. His lightning-release body flicker pushed his nervous system into synaptic overdrive, moving faster than Sasuke's Sharingan could update his focal coordinates. During the Uchiha brothers' final battle, Sasuke appeared to be consumed by Amaterasu, only to emerge unharmed. Within the Singularity Chakra framework, this is not a dodge, it is a buffer sacrifice. Sasuke used Orochimaru's body shedding technique, creating a disposable outer layer of high-density chakra. Amaterasu locked onto that layer, the first substrate available at the ignition point. Before the erasure effect could propagate inward, Sasuke severed his nervous system's connection to the burning shell and stepped free of it. This is a decoy layer, not an evasion. The singularity ignited exactly where it was supposed to. Sasuke simply abandoned the matter it targeted. Because the plasma phase, Amaterasu, is ultra-dense, its thermal and gravitational transfer take time to bridge between separate chakra networks. By shedding the skin, Sasuke disconnected the bridge before the baryogenesis effect could jump to his core. Gaara's dodge is the most misunderstood. He didn't evade Amaterasu, he quarantined it. Amaterasu behaves like a high-energy plasma. It requires a physical substrate to consume. Gaara sand is infused with this chakra, giving it enough density to act as a disposable shield. The black flames ignited on the sand surface, and Gaara simply discarded the burning grains before the heat could radiate through his body. Gaara sand is chakra infused, which is why he can survive the initial impact of the singularity long enough to be discarded. This is matter versus matter, not speed versus flame. The singularity collapsed onto the first available mass, and Gaara ensured that the mass was expendable. In every case, Amaterasu behaves consistently with a localized space-time collapse. It is never outrun, never outmaneuvered, only mistargeted, decoyed, or given a sacrificial substrate. The flame does not fail. The system is simply bypassed. The true seeking ball is the perfect product of Otsutsuki baryogenesis. It represents the moment all 5 elements and yin-yang energy reach total equilibrium and collapse into a stable, fluid-state matter. It is the gold standard of the process. They can be summoned, reshaped into weapons or platforms, and they nullify ninjutsu on contact. Critically, they vanish when their owner dies, a user-linked existence rule shared across these phenomena. This is the liquid or fluid phase, a cohesive high-density mass of chakra that behaves like a solvent for other jutsu and in extreme cases for life itself. Truth-seeking balls are the most stable and versatile manifestations of the Otsutsuki prime matter. Because they exist in a fluid-liquid state, they act as a universal phase, exhibiting the mechanical properties of every other state of matter in the cycle. Just as Amaterasu consumes fire and reduces everything at its focal point to ash, truth-seeking balls are explicitly defined as a substance that nullify all ninjutsu and erase matter on contact. They don't just hit a target, they overwrite its molecular structure, mirroring the gas plasma phase's radiative destruction. While Amaterasu is radiative destruction, like heat or plasma, the truth-seeking ball is molecular overwriting. One burns the target, the other replaces the target's data with its own. Truth-seeking balls exhibit the same field phase traits as Sarada's Ōhirume. Higoromo and others have been seen levitating on these orbs or using them to hover. This proves that the truth-seeking ball is a compact gravity well, providing the lift and propulsion necessary to ignore the laws of physics. The link between the liquid and solid phases is canonical fact. We have witnessed Obito and Madara's physically compress the truth-seeking balls into black receiver rods. This is a direct phase transition, turning a malleable fluid into a rigid, metallic conduit for chakra transmission. If these were separate jutsu, they wouldn't share these exact life cycle rules, user-linked existence, and structural overlaps. The truth-seeking ball is simply the state of matter where all properties of Otsutsuki prime matter are active at once. This is the only phase where all properties, erasure, gravity, and structure are active simultaneously. The truth-seeking ball is the level 10 of chakra molding. To a standard shinobi, combining 2 elements is a miracle. But a truth-seeking ball is all 5 elemental natures plus yin and yang combined into a single sphere. This isn't just a jutsu, it is the Otsutsuki baseline. The Uchiha main house didn't invent this. They inherited a high-resolution version of the genome that allows them to process chakra at a density humans simply cannot reach. The clearest proof of the phases of matter theory is the black receivers. We have canonically seen 6 paths users fashion these rods directly from their fluid, truth-seeking orbs. This is the solid phase of Otsutsuki prime matter, hardened into a metallic consistency to act as a high-density waveguide for the user's will. But these rods are more than just stabbing weapons. They are biological jammers. Think of the moment Pain pinned Naruto to the ground. Naruto wasn't just physically restrained, he was biologically paralyzed. Because these rods are crystallized prime matter, they broadcast at a frequency so overwhelming that they drown out the target's native chakra. Like a high-powered radio tower standing next to a handheld walkie-talkie, the rod floods the victim's pathways with the caster's signal, scrambling their motor functions until the physical anchor is removed. It doesn't just block energy, it overwrites it. This extreme density also allows for the chakra wormhole effect. The Otsutsuki don't just send signals through the air, they use the solid phase as a space-time anchor to create microscopic folds in reality. By puncturing the fabric of a dimension, the rod allows for distant, non-local control across vast distances, or even between worlds. Because it is the solid phase, it is the only phase capable of staying fixed in a specific spatial coordinate to act as a doorway. You can't build a door out of fire, Amarterasu, or liquid, true-seeking balls. You need the rod. Kaguya's ultimate manifestation was the start of a new space-time, confirming that this black substance is the literal building block for dimensions. From a fluid orb to a solid anchor, the black receiver proves the Otsutsuki prime matter is the hardware upon which reality is run. Ōhirume, Sarada's Mangekyo ability, manifests as black spheres with disproportionate gravitational pull. She can summon multiple vortexes, adjust their strength, levitate allies, and crush enemies by amplifying gravity. This is the field phase. The substance is not experienced as flame or solid, but as a direct alteration of gravitational potential, a localized curvature of space-time. Sarada's ability to create gravitational vortexes proves that this matter can exist as a pure gravitational field. Gravity is simply the curvature of space-time. Therefore, the black suns she creates are essentially stationary wormhole entrances. The visual and thematic link to Amarterasu's solar imagery is deliberate. Here, the sun is a black, dense lens that bends reality rather than irradiating heat. Amaterasu is the heat of the collapse. Ōhirume is the weight of it. While Sasuke and Itachi manifest the radiative byproduct, flames, Sarada had evolved to manifest the core byproduct, gravity. It suggests the main house line is getting closer to the pure Otsutsuki baseline with each generation. Because Sarada is part of the Indra Prime lineage, her Ōhirume is the natural evolution of the phenotype, moving from gas, Amaterasu, to field, gravity. In real-world physics, black in this context signals extreme density and curvature, not absence of energy. A black hole is not darkness as substance, it is a region where mass energy is so concentrated that escape velocity exceeds light speed. At extreme densities, matter and energy enter exotic phases. Degenerate matter, quark gluon mass plasma, and the dominant observable becomes how they curve spacetime. In the Naruto canon, Diva Path techniques like Shinra Tensei and Chibaku Tensei are explicitly gravity-type abilities tied to Rinnegan and Six Paths chakra, and higher-tier phenomena are described as creating new space-time or reading space-time curvature. That language maps directly into the physics of gravity and curvature. Chibaku Tensei is the macro version of what Sarada does on a micro scale. This makes her power feel appropriately god-tier despite her age. The reason Amaterasu looks black is that the singularity at the center of the flame is absorbing its own light. Only the radiative bleed, the heat, is felt by the victim. Put together, the evidence supports a unified model. One ultra-dense yin-yang chakra that manifests at different phases depending on concentration and constraint. Amaterasu is the turbulent radiative phase. Truth-seeking balls are the cohesive fluid phase. Black receivers are the crystallized solid phase. Ōhirume is the field phase where gravity is the primary observable. Canon repeatedly ties these phenomena to Six Paths or Otsutsuki tier chakra, shares life cycle rules, and show direct transformations between phases. The strongest in-story proof that they are structural variants of the same underlying power. Why is this power so exclusive? The main house are the only pure-blooded Uchiha who can manifest the Otsutsuki Prime matter naturally because they carry the Otsutsuki Prime phenotype. Since Sasuke is the literal reincarnation of Indra, his direct lineage, including Itachi and Sarada, possesses the uncorrupted genetic blueprint of the ancestor. This isn't a high-tier jutsu, it's a biological inheritance. For this specific bloodline, the Mangekyo acts as a specialized terminal to manifest and most importantly control the Otsutsuki Prime matter. While others might summon black flames, only the Indra Prime lineage can use Kagutsuchi to sculpt that matter, or Ōhirume to warp the gravitational fields around it. This is high-resolution manifestation. They are the only ones whose biology is tuned to handle the source code of their ancestors' power without external aid. Anyone else wielding this power is using a biological workaround. Obito accessed these powers only through the Senju Zetsu graft. By fusing his DNA with Hashirama cells, he created an artificial recombination of Indra and Asura's genomes to bypass the cellular strain of the Otsutsuki Prime matter. Pein could only manifest the solid black receiver rods because he was equipped with Madara's Rinnegan. The Rinnegan provided the hardware to stabilize and solidify chakra that his Uzumaki biology couldn't naturally produce. Kaguya and Hagoromo Otsutsuki, they are the source. For them, the Otsutsuki Prime matter isn't a mutation. It is the baseline state for their existence. The main house doesn't just use genjutsu. Their DNA carries the master code for spontaneous matter creation. Amaterasu isn't just fire. It is the physical manifestation of Indra's refusal to connect with the world and his desire to overwrite it. One substance, 4 phases, a single biological axis where chakra becomes reality. One substance, 4 phases, a single biological and metaphysical axis where chakra, when pushed to 6 paths density, stops being elemental and starts to behave like gravity in spacetime. This is a theory, a synthesis of explicit canon, repeated mechanical parallels, and a physics analogy that gives the visuals and rules a coherent explanation. It does not replace canon, it organizes it. If you found this useful, initialize the light protocol and subscribe to keep this data stream open. System logging off.